Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have Bill here. You guys met Bill a couple weeks ago, or last week. And we're going to check Bill's ORP one more time. And right now, he's at 70 heartbeats and 98% oxygen. So he's still doing pretty good with his oxygen absorption, but he's having a little trouble breathing and a couple of other things. But Bill's agreed to do clinical human trials for Formula U. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. And we had a meeting, discussion, paper, understanding. But I want to show you something, Bill. Because Bill, everybody, not Matt, Max Miller. Max Miller is the aficionado of the Stan Meyer circuits. Okay? Yeah. Russ Grease from RWG Research is the one who flipped me that injector that you touched. Bill, he asked me, do you know about Stan Myers? After he told me he has, tell me what you have at home for me.
A rifle machine, Royal rifle machine.
Yeah, he has a Royal rifle machine that he's going to let me borrow so I can tune it up. Anyway, come check out my rifle machine. Okay. Yeah, bring that with you. So the reaction is just getting started. This is my fusion reactor. Is it pretty enough for you? Okay. See the light inside of there, how purple it is? That's registered hot fusion. Nobody's ever accomplished fusion. Okay. So now
Actual fusion?
actual fusion. Boron, proton, deuterium fusion in the boron cycle. The frequencies of this are tuned to Royal Rife 518, the frequency of your DNA, love, that you were asking about. But all these electrodes will be cherry red hot, running off this little wire. Yeah. That's how powerful Rife is when it's done right. Okay? So this, I'll explain my reactor. This is recirculation so that we can add water if needed. Okay? I can do a pH test right here. Okay. I can keep my water level the way I want it, flow. But you see the color of the water? How beautiful gold that is? That's monatomic. Let's turn on the light. See that? Okay. Now, I just finished assembling this last night, and this is the first file. It's going to take a while for the electrodes to get cherry red hot. I'll find my pH strips because we took your pH last time. So I just want to check your pH before and after Formula U. We'll do it later. But so I can check pH, and then as we use product water, I can just fill it up without upsetting the reaction. Okay? So everybody saw this last night, and the color, the light was yellow. Now it's becoming more purple. Okay? But in a moment, all the electrodes will get dipped, and they'll all turn to cherry red hot. And this thing will just blow steam like a geyser. Okay? But right now, this is the first run of this particular reactor. So once it gets up to the right consistency and temperature, then we'll filter the water. Okay, I can't filter it now for reasons. After everything's got to get hot, so it's bypassing the filter now. Then we'll filter the water, okay? Because everything once the monatomic gets heavy, it'll sink down. There's a big sand bed in here. and it's being filtered through a sand bed, ocean, right out of the beach, just right out of at a certain time of night, and it's been in a sealed bucket for over 2 years to make sure that there's no bacteria. There's only anaerobic bacteria called cyanobacteria. Okay, so this I can control the flow between the bottom and the top. Okay, so that I can get I can keep the level perfect like a fish tank. Okay, or I can draw more water through the sand bed. So when I go like this, come over here to the flow meter. I installed this last night, part of it. So I'm at 1.5 gallons per minute. When I open up the flow all the way to the bottom, I get more suction out of the bottom. Okay? That's just because the water level raised and lowered. Okay? And now I'm getting my flow. I can do my pH test. I can do my water temperature here, wherever I want. Okay? Now, until the electrodes get hot, they're very sensitive. Okay. So here's what they look like. Could you hold this? Be my video camera guy for a minute. This one's starting to break in. Okay. See the coating on there? It's a superconductive coating. It'll start to break in, and then that coating, that electrode will turn cherry red hot, and then it'll get the carbon that's inside the electrode will convert to graphene, and this will become superconductive. Right now, once it gets hot, it's hard to hold. But after it gets superconductive, this will be cherry red hot, and this will be ice cold at the same. Wow. Yeah, it's amazing. Superconductivity is awesome. Okay, so first you got to figure out superconductivity, then you have to figure out how to amplify gravity, then you have to figure out fusion, and then you have to figure out the biological side before you can produce the fusion to produce the cure for which Formula U, the anaerobic virus cure. But like I said, we're batching this for cancer, not for the coronavirus. It's just that's just a beautiful side effect, right? So I'm going to dip this electrode. Okay, so this one I'll deal with it later. Just let them get hot and do their business. Okay, so Formula U. I'm sorry that 100,000 people have died from the coronavirus, but 60,000 people die a year of the flu. Okay, and this we're pretty sure it gets rid of the flu virus, which is anaerobic. Okay, that's easy. Just the flu alone, it makes Formula U warrant me putting it in the bottle. Okay, but 9.6 million people a year die of cancer. That's a little bit bigger call for me than the coronavirus crap. Okay, and look what the coronavirus has done to the world. But they forget about the guys like you, or Angel Alvarez, my chairman of my board, who's got prostate cancer. You're just happen to be a little bit further along in pain than he is, but you're both going to end up getting bone cancer eventually if you can live that long, right? So we're going to make sure that you're another friend of mine. I made promise to my friend. It's not going to happen on my watch. I'm going to give you every tool that I possibly have. And your Rife generator, basically it helps me balance So I know that I'm on frequency. Okay, that's what I'm going to use it for. Once I get it tuned up, it's yours. You can have it back. But that'll definitely make sure that I'm bouncing off the right frequency. And I've got taps on here to be able to do that, and meters and stuff that are going to be hooked up to this. This is just the basic. There's a lot more stuff to add to this unit, and this is on a cart for right now, until I finish populating my lab part, because the shop is a little bit of a disarray. So why don't you just take a walk with me? Everybody's seen my workbench last night. So take a walk. So machine shop. Okay. You can point the camera wherever makes you feel good. So by the end of tonight, these machines will be moved out so that we can restore them, because we use them because we produce high frequency transformers. If this shop existed, we built the density recording head from megabyte to gigabyte under Arthur J. Devine. If it wasn't for him, ladies and gentlemen, you would not have the computer chip that you are looking at me with. Okay? It was this man in this shop that gave Intel and IBM the understanding so that we could even build an IC chip. Right. This shop is historic, and we're populating. So this floor is getting full-blown epoxy tonight. We're painting all the walls and stuff. We got it all cleaned out. It's going to look like NASA labs in here and a hospital under food safety by the end of tonight. Okay. We're getting our workshop back in order. You didn't see it before, Bill. It was a mess because we were just thrashing. We're moving racks and stuff tonight. Okay. Now that the reactor's done, it needs to run for 24 hours so I can get my hands even dirtier. This floor is getting fully epoxied when we're done, okay? And the walls being painted, but we got to move a bunch of stuff first, so it's pointless to do that right now. This is Arthur Devine's project. You're going to see Arthur again. Here's the problem, Bill. I could sit here and I could talk about world-class billion-dollar technology, right? Trillion-dollar technology, life-saving crap all day long. I get some nice comments on my YouTube. I put Arthur Devine on my YouTube, and everybody freaking loves Arthur Devine. They want to know more about what Arthur Devine has to talk about versus me. Okay, that's good. He's my chief technical officer in proton spin technology. I'm his general manager in magnetic arts. Okay, I'm his apprentice and he's mine. Okay, so he's been bitching about this generator that has a rod knock for 5 freaking years. We drug it out of the corner, pressure washed it last night, and Arthur Devine gets to tear this thing apart and rebuild this thing and machine whatever component it needs for you guys. So you have more of Arthur Devine. You don't have to listen to me yap anymore. Okay? Because I got work to do. So we're getting our tools organized, and Bill, that reactor, that's playtime at the beach. Okay? This and that batching is using, let me show you, we can do it on telephone wire. That's not the problem. But when we convert the carbon to graphene and superconductivity, the carbon, which is a ball, gets caught in the metal lattice of the metal being drawn and annealed, making wire in general. We take that ball, convert it to the flat graphene, right? And it rotates in that ball like a revolving door in a hotel, and the electrons zing back and forth through the center of the wire, Bill. Yeah, that's superconductivity. During the Meissner experiment, they saw the compasses go on the outside of the wire when they froze the wire down 400 degrees below zero. They thought that the magnetism was going around the outside, no resistance. Oh, wow, we got no resistance. No. The gyroed graphenes, because they dropped it down, lost all the empathy, of the electromagnetism, 425 degrees below zero, the revolving doors of graphene induced the magnetic field. Gravity, ladies and gentlemen, is from the neutron spin in superconductivity. That's where we get gravity. I've been able to take the neutron and flip it and hold it heavy and flip it, hold it light by taking the proton and inducing the neutron. It's called proton spin technology for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so when we batch in this is the size wire we're going to do, so we have a corridor of energy, not amperage. There's no amperage going through that wire, okay? It's so we have a larger corridor. Those are our variacs. Those are our variable variacs that are going to run this bad boy, okay? That's going to get 3 electrodes. 3 6-inch diameter electrodes. They're going to cherry red hot on milliamps. And no more than 38 volts. 7 volts in plasma, maybe 38 volts in milliamps.
Wow.
Milliamps. Okay. Thank you, Russ. I will always thank you for this. Bill, I bought a lab from Los Alamos Labs. From Robert Oppenheimer's lab that built the nuclear bomb. You understand? Full-blown 40-foot shipping container of pulse plasma physics, power supplies, oscilloscopes. Ridiculous. Oil bath, Jacob's ladder, freaking transformers that you guys have never seen. Everything made in USA. Okay? Full-blown top secret stuff that was stolen and taken to a scrapyard by Scott Wingrove, a scumbag drug addict. You understand? But Russ saved me this one oscilloscope. I've got the receipt from this thing. It says right there on it, custom built for Los Alamos Labs, $250,000 oscilloscope, because they were checking. I had 10 of them. I got one left. They were checking lightning bolts. This is a radio frequency oscilloscope for checking radio frequency off a live freaking 1,000,000-volt lightning bolt, because they were taking lightning bolts, and the only thing that they could find with a heavy enough ground is they were firing up against a 747 aluminum chassis. That's my scientific term for that's a lot of gigawatts. Okay. And I had file cabinets of Polaroid slow motion photography of watching these lightning bolts took to the scrapyard. Okay. However, I learned enough. I have a photographic memory, thank God. So Russ, thank you for my oscilloscope. That's why that oscilloscope's so important, so I can use it on this lightning bolt. Okay, because now we can control the lightning bolt. They could not control the lightning bolts. We can control them now. Okay. And then we got our safe for explosive tests later, but it's going to be used temporarily now to store product in because it's expensive. And you might as well tell people what's in the safe so they know what's in it. Good luck trying to get into it. Right? Because most people break into a safe to figure out what's inside, what they can steal. Well, if you break into that safe and you steal the cure to somebody's life, well, your life is in jeopardy. It's called a finality order assigned by the Supreme Court. Okay, so that's what'll be in the safe. You guys will see me loading in there so that you know what our inventory is, so we can show the world that we have inventory. And we're targeting the coronavirus, even though cancer is my number one because of the ratio of people die each year, okay? And the slow, painful death of cancer. Coronavirus, that's pretty quick. You get on a respirator, you got a couple weeks, okay? deal with cancer for 10 years and the threat and the stress and the family and everything else? No. Not on my watch. I made a promise to Robert Bernard, a friend of mine who had stage 4 cancer, and I didn't know enough at that time. So the best I could do was make, basically in that container there, the stainless steel container, we just dropped a fuel cell in there and shoved freaking heavy ozone and heavy hydrogen in him, just so we could have him talk long enough to say his goodbyes. That's about, because we found out at stage 4 cancer, what happened was he was trucking. He went out trucking to get insurance so his wife could get new hips, because she's a horse woman, right? So she got new hips. He came home, and we were playing pool, right? Just playing pool one night, and all of a sudden Robert was like this. And I go, "Hey, Robert, it's your turn. Hey, Robert. Hey, Robert." Oh, fuck. I'm trained in paramedics by Mercedes-Benz. I know how to save people's lives. And I go, "Robert, oh, fuck. He's freaking gone." So I just get a chair, because I know something, ladies and gentlemen, about life and death. If somebody is dead, you can't just shake them back to life. They have to come back. Okay? That's why paramedics, when they bip your heart, they have to wait for you to come back. Okay, so I just got a chair, and I just sat him down. I went across the property, across the horse property, over the corrals, and got his wife and said, "Look, Robert is not in a good mood. Okay, let's just see what happens." 45 minutes later, he woke up. He goes, "Man, is it my turn?" I go, "Dude, you were asleep." "Well, how long?" "Like 45 minutes. Has that ever happened to you before?" "Well, kind of on the road." No. Never happened. Took him to the hospital. Stage 4 freaking bone cancer, man. Big lump in his chest. We watched it grow out of the top of his head. He died at home at hospice, man. When I make promises, I make promises. I've spent over $4 million cash on third-party lab evaluations at $250 an hour just to show me my test results. Not to tell me what to do. Doesn't include my time, my equipment, doesn't include building, doesn't include Lemon Drop Farm, doesn't include BlackRock, doesn't include anything. Just that. Just so I knew the empirical data, so I could look at a report and know what was going on. Okay? So, as I'm talking, look at your heart rate. Now, basically, I've just given you an affirmation of hope. You're calm, you're cool, you're collective. The camera, we can look at the camera, it's not shaking. I don't have video stabilization on my camera. And your oxygen level is up. That's just my voice giving you affirmations of hope, that you know that at least I know what I'm talking about. Okay, and so a very good friend of mine, you'll see on the marketing page, Prince Adabadabi. Okay, we'll just call him Abracadabra. Right in the center of the page on my marketing page, he's the one who owns OPEC. Do you understand? He owns the Water Desalination Organization, who owns OPEC. I'm sitting at his inaugural table, president's table, and we were talking about the Drink Me project, basically the large commercial version, 1,000 gallons a minute that are pumping into the California aqueduct, Formula U today, ladies and gentlemen, approved by the governor of the United States of the California, which is our state of the United States. So I said, "Hey, you guys, check this out." They literally were flipping their engineer cards across the table at me like this, and he whispers in my ear, he says, "Mr. Pukta," and he knows exactly what I'm going to say. He says, "Mr. Pukta, if you're 10% right, we have the money to make you 100% right. Let me show you our universities and our schools and our labs." And I was like, they make NASA look like a junkyard, ladies and gentlemen. Be very, very cognizant that we have good partners in Saudi Arabia. Good partners. Okay? However, he goes, "I know you're 90% right. Don't worry. We have the money to help you." Okay? I said, "No problem. Here's my bank account." 1.4 trillion in cash earnings backed by gold. I own half of them if I want. He's like, oh, okay. So we'll talk about that later, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a little tidbit of a story. So I wanted to give Bill an understanding because we're going to head to Jimbo's Natural Foods now, and Bill's going to buy some Formula U, and we're going to talk about Formula U, my open source cocktail. This is just the product water, but I open sourced it for a reason, and you're going to find out why. So let's take a walk to the front and get out of here. Let these guys get to work.
Okay, stop it.
No, just come on.